is the Writer's Almanac for Wednesday, the 14th of April, 2021. It's the anniversary of two great historic tragedies. 1865, on this day, President Abraham Lincoln was shot at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., the first presidential assassination in American history, while his bodyguard had gone next door to the saloon for a drink. He was shot and killed by a 26-year-old actor named John Wilkes Booth. And it was shortly before midnight on this day in 1912, the great ocean liner Titanic struck an iceberg in the North Atlantic on its maiden voyage from Southampton to New York, and over 1,500 people drowned in the 30-degree waters of the North Atlantic. The passengers on the lifeboats were close enough to hear people in the water crying out for help, but only 2 boats returned to rescue the drowning people. The others feared getting pulled down by the suction of the ship sinking. The liner Californian, less than 20 miles away, could have saved most of the passengers had its radio operator been on duty to hear the distress calls. And it's the birthday of Anne Sullivan, born in Agawam, Massachusetts in 1866, the woman who taught the blind and deaf child Hellen Keller how to communicate. Anne Sullivan was the oldest child of Irish immigrants who came over during the potato famine. She'd had a terrible fever as a child that rendered her blind for a time, and so she had to go off to an institute for the blind, where she underwent surgery, which improved her eyesight a good deal. And after she graduated from the School for the Blind, she heard that a man, the father of Hellen Keller, was looking for a governess for his child, who was just 6 years old, left blind and deaf from the age of 19 months, a child whom Anne Sullivan found to be sullen, stubborn, given to temper tantrums, but also highly intelligent. And she taught the child language by spelling out the names of objects using the sign language alphabet into the child's palm. The first word was doll, and the second was water. She learned quickly. She went on to the School for the Blind, then to a prep school, then to Radcliffe College, and then on to the lecture circuit, raising money for blind soldiers returning home from World War I, and then to Hollywood, where Hellen Keller starred in a movie about herself. The whole story told in the play and movie The Miracle Worker. It was on this day, 1939, John Steinbeck published The Grapes of Wrath. He had written it in about 5 months, in a tiny house, just enough room for a bed, a desk, a gun rack, and a bookshelf. He wasn't happy with it. He wrote in his journal, "It's just a run-of-the-mill book, and the awful thing is that it is absolutely the best I can do," and he warned his publisher that it wouldn't be very popular. Here's a poem for today by Faith Sheeran, Places I Have Heard the Ocean. In a cat's throat, in a shell I hold to my ear, though I'm told this is the sound of my own blood. I have heard the ocean in the city, cars against the beach of our street, or in the subway, waiting for a train that carries me like a current. In my bed, place of high and low tide, or in my daughter's skates, rolling over the sidewalk. Ocean in the trees when they fill their heads with wind. Ocean in the rise and fall, lungs of everyone I love. Places I Have Heard the Ocean by Faith Sheeran from Moving the Piano, published by Stephen F. Austin University Press and used by permission here on the Writer's Almanac. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.
This is Tim Russell. Please support the Writer's Almanac by making a donation during April, National Poetry Month. Your contribution will help cover costs of research, recording, editing, payments to poets, and more. Visit GarrisonKeillor.com for details. And thank you.